So hello everyone, and welcome back to Soccer Unboxing. So in today's video, we're ending off 2024 with my December 2024 figure and merch haul. So I'm going to just jump right into it because I have a bunch of things to talk about today. So without further ado, let us get started. So first, we're going to be going into delays, which there were quite a few, unfortunately, that happened. So the first one was the Reverse Studio Mushroom Girl ink cap figure that I do have already as I'm recording this video, but she got unfortunately delayed from December to January. So the next figure that got delayed, which was a pretty big one, unfortunately. Again, I have this in my collection already, but the delays kind of sucked, and that was the Fate Grand Order Lancer Karna 1/8 scale figure by Alter. I have him, he looks gorgeous, but again, the delays kind of sucked. So the first binding figure that got delayed was the Catherine White 1/4 scale. Unfortunately, I think she was also delayed twice. I believe she was supposed to release in November, but got delayed to December and now January. Again, have the figure in my collection, but delays suck. And then the other one that got delayed was the Sarah 1/4 Red Queen version. Again, kind of sucks. Binding does tend to delay their figures by at least 1 month. And of course I have that one in my collection as well, and she looks gorgeous. I'm excited to talk about her for January. But yeah, quite some big figures that unfortunately got delayed to January. And now properly going on to the pickups for December of 2024. So I have a couple of merch items to talk about, and there's also one manga box set that I thought I'd talk about in this video. And then going on to the figures, we have one Nendoroid, 2 Nendoroid dolls, and 2 scale figures to go over. So let us first jump into the merch pickups. So the first merch item we're starting off with is this My Hero Academia present mic clear file that I picked up just to delay my Ami order. So this is definitely going to be put in a future giveaway because I'm not the biggest My Hero Academia fan. I've watched like 4.5 seasons, so yeah, I just wanted to mainly get this to delay my Ami order. So going into more FGO acrylic standees and charms, of course I picked up the ones for Chiron and also First Hassan, some of my favorite characters who I do have in the game. And I did quite like Chiron in Fate Apocrypha. I quite enjoyed his character and his personality quite a bit. Also for First Hassan, I do like how he comes with the other Hassans in each of these little merch items. So yeah. Very cute. Again, I really like the art style of this sort of line of FGO merch and some nice additions to my collection. And now the pretty much last item I picked up in specifically my Ami order. It is quite a big one, and this is a Tapestry I picked up because I liked the artwork. And this is the 39 Culture 2023 Extra Party B2 wall scroll. It has Vocaloid characters on it. So I mainly picked this up because I really liked the artwork in it. It has a bit of a sweet theme as well. And I like sort of just the pastel color scheme on this tapestry. However, I did not read how large this tapestry was gonna be. So yeah, it is probably the biggest tapestry I have in my collection so far. And unfortunately, I think this thing was the reason why my Ami order was so expensive with what items I listed off. So yeah, maybe I should have just not picked this up, but hey, the art style looks great. It's a relatively cheap tapestry at about $20, which isn't too bad. But yeah, hopefully I can display this in the future because the art style for this is gorgeous. So now we're moving on to the manga box set I have right here, which is the Delicious in Dungeon complete box set of volumes 1 through 14 of the series. So yeah, it's gorgeous. It's nice and glossy in some parts, but I'm gonna put this on the floor because it's also just extremely heavy. So of course I love Delicious in Dungeon, and when I saw they had a box set announced, I decided to pre-order it. Because I haven't thankfully collected any of the physical volumes of Delicious in Dungeon, so I thought, hey, I'd take advantage of picking up this box set. Now, I feel like Delicious in Dungeon was one of those series that, after finishing the anime, I wanted to read more. And I did read the rest of the manga online, but I did want to get these physical volumes because, again, I love the art style of Delicious in Dungeon, so it's just very nice to have this in person. So yeah, the box is very high quality. I like how it does have some magnets as well to keep everything together. I like how when you open it, like there's like a picture of the mimic on the inside, and then you pull the top down and then it just reveals all of the very gorgeous volumes of the series. And yeah, so there's also a bonus as well, which is a poster that has every single monster that Leos and his party encounter in the dungeon, which is very cool. Poster is also pretty nice quality. It's not really cheap or flimsy, which is very nice. Very large, so I don't really have any spot to really display it, so it's just gonna stay in the box itself. Also, I don't really remember how much I paid for this box, but on the box itself, it does say it costs like $225, which is, of course, very expensive. I mean, Yen Press tends to have like more expensive manga, so that's one reason why, on top of the, you know, the quality of the box itself. But yeah, I ended up pre-ordering the box off of Amazon, and I believe I got like reimbursed a little bit for like the shipping of it. I'll probably put like up on screen like the price I paid for this. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think they reimbursed me slightly for at least the shipping of it, which was nice. So I just mainly collect manga of series I really enjoy, and that's very few and far between. I am no expert on collecting manga, but I do see that sometimes manga box sets tend to go on sale. They get discounted quite a bit if you go to Barnes & Noble's, one of the comic book shops I tend to go to. I believe I actually saw this box set that was discounted, so I'm like, yeah, maybe I could have, you know, definitely waited to see what places have the box set discounted, but I'm impatient when it comes to like my favorite series, so I just like pre-ordered the box set. But yeah, I'm still happy to have gotten this box set in my collection. It is gorgeous and, you know, very nice to have these physical Delicious in Dungeon volumes. And now we're going into the figure pickups for the month, so going from that Delicious in Dungeon box set to this Delicious in Dungeon Nendoroid. Of course, this is the Leos Nendoroid, which of course I did not pre-order, which was a mistake. So yeah, I got him for like aftermarket prices without the bonus, because with the bonuses, these guys were pretty expensive in the aftermarket. You're looking at about $90 or more if you want to pick them up, roughly. So yeah, I just settled on them without their bonuses, but yeah, we're gonna start off with what he comes with. So face plates, he comes with a straight face, a closed eyes face, and a very crazed looking smiling face. So other accessories he comes with are Kensuke, his sword, in the sheath and then also drawn, a walking mushroom, a bowl with scorpion hot pot, and some chopsticks. So yeah, going into the Nendoroid himself, I'd say, you know, not too bad. Again, I think the reason why I didn't want to pick these guys up is that I thought, oh, the accessories aren't really that exciting, so I just wanted to wait until the aftermarket. And again, it's Delicious in Dungeon. These are like one of the first like couple of figures that came out for this series, so, and how popular the series is, I'm like, I should have just pre-ordered it so I can at least get the bonuses as well. For Leos, it was a hand part and a frying spatula. So yeah, but in terms of the Nendoroid himself, I'd say he's pretty solid in terms of like sculpt and detailing. I feel like he's not too messy in terms of paintwork. I do love, again, the expressions that they picked for the characters. It's just so funny. And yeah, his armor also is not really like metallic or anything like that normal like silvery paint job. It's kind of just a flat grayish blue kind of color, which is interesting. I think it actually might look better if they did it like this coloring than if they were to do a sort of like silvery metallic finish to it. So yeah, again, these Nendoroids are pretty much like the main figures I want to collect for Delicious in Dungeon. I'm not too interested in any scale figures or the Figma that are coming out. I think it's just kind of cute to have them in this like chibi style and just putting them in different scenarios, which is cute, and just having them all lined up on my shelf. So yeah, he's not the most exciting one for me out of the set, but hey, at least I have him for my collection, and I'm definitely excited for more characters from this series to be made into Nendoroids in the future. And hopefully they do an Itsuzumi, because I will definitely be picking her up. So now we're moving on to one of 2 Nendoroid dolls that I picked up for the month. The first one is a re-release of the Snow Miku Nendoroid doll, which at the time she went up for pre-order, I was a little bit on the fence if I wanted to pick up or not, because I mainly wanted to collect Snow Miku Nendoroids, and I thought, should I pick up the Nendoroid doll? And I just decided to. I thought she looked very cute. Yeah, and I believe this Nendoroid doll is quite expensive in the aftermarket. I do see a listing of her on AmiAmi, and she is 14,980 yen, which is $98 USD. Yeah, so Nendoroid dolls a little bit more expensive, of course, because they have the like jointed body parts, so you can just like move them like freely. You don't have to interchange any arms or legs. And then of course the clothing, how, you know, extra material is going to cost a little bit more. And I'm actually quite happy I picked her up. I do think she turned out absolutely adorable. I feel like the hair sculpt design is closest to the very first Snow Miku Nendoroid. So yeah, I really like the very pearlescent blue. Has some very nice like darker shading in some areas, and how her twin tails go from, you know, opaque to transparent at the end, and the snowflakes look fantastic all over this Nendoroid. And the clothing is very well done. Once again, I don't notice anything like rips or any like loose threads or anything on her. And yeah, just the detail, like the snowflake on her tie that's printed on. It has some very nice like shiny finishes in some areas of her outfit. So yeah, the scarf also is a little bit fluffy, which is nice. However, I feel like it was like the hardest part for me to put on her. At least trying to put it on like it's shown in the pictures. The back of it, if you see it in some B-roll, kind of wants to stick up. It doesn't want to like lay down a little bit. But I think it's kind of cool. Like, it makes it a little bit more action-y, I guess. Like, she's like running and then her scarf is being blown back, which is cool. And then we also have the boots, which are made of fabric as well. There's a little bit of plastic on there for like the bottom part. And yeah, so in terms of putting the clothing on, I feel like it was pretty easy to do, and she just turned out so cute. So yeah, and then the gloves as well have a very small snowflake detail on there, which very neatly applied. They're made of plastic and not like cloth or anything, which I think is fine. I feel like those don't really have to be fabric, especially for her holding this snowflake that she has. But yeah, a very adorable Snow Miku Nendoroid doll to add to my Nendoroid doll collection, as well as I guess my Snow Miku collection. And now we're moving on to the last Nendoroid doll, which is the Fate Grand Order Pretender Oberon Refreshing Summer Prince version by Good Small Company. Another Oberon figure from my collection, and a no-brainer pre-order for me at the time he was announced and put up for pre-order. So yeah, I think he turned out very nice. The clothing on here, just the threading, just like the pockets he has. You could probably like technically put something in there. They're not like completely sealed, which is nice. And just the little bows are very cute as well. I'm not too sure exactly what material this is made out of, but it gives it an interesting sort of texture to the clothing. So then we also have this little armband, I guess, that he has, which is supposed to be his crown. You kind of just have to, you know, shove it and maybe like squish the clothing a little bit to get it on, and it, you know, it stays on pretty well. It's not gonna fly off or anything. Other things are his sandals. I feel like are very well sculpted, and the paint job isn't messy on these, at least with my copy of the figure. What's also nice is he does come with an alternate sort of hair sculpt where his hair is tied up in the back, which is very cute. And then he also comes with this very tiny little ice cream that I'm worried I'm gonna lose in the future because it's that small. But yeah, I feel like he's pretty solid. Again, just assembling the clothing wasn't too bad. So he has obviously some very white clothing, so definitely be careful if your hands are dirty and you touch the clothing so you don't stain them or anything. Also, I was a little bit nervous putting on his like armband because it is gold, and again, white clothing, so thankfully nothing really stained the clothing, which is nice. So yeah, my other kind of complaint with this Nendoroid is just the hand that holds the ice cream. It's not the tightest grip, and you kind of have to just like rest it, and if you pretty much like bump this figure, it's gonna fall out. I do wish that they just made it so like he's like completely holding it, like how some Nendoroids hold like weapons, like it goes like all the way like through the hand in a way, if you know what I mean. This, it's like you just kind of have to like press it in a little bit and hopefully he holds it. But if you bump him, it's definitely gonna fall out. So that was just a little bit annoying of an issue that I wish they, you know, gave him like a much more better gripping hand for the ice cream. Because again, you could possibly lose that little piece, and I would personally like to display him with it. So yeah, despite those nitpicks, I am happy to of course have yet another Oberon figure in my collection. And this also makes me excited for the moody summer version of him to be made into an Nendoroid doll in the future. Obviously that was announced at the recent figure event, but yeah, I'm excited to see how that one's gonna look as an actual figure. So yeah, super cute little Oberon Nendoroid for my growing Oberon collection. And now we're going into one of 3 scale figures for the month. So the first one is the Vocaloid Hatsune Miku Magical Mirai 2023 version 1/7 scale figure by Design Coco. So this is my first ever figure from this manufacturer. And yeah, I picked her up because I really do like this Miku design. So jumping into the assembly, which I heard a lot of people struggled with. So first is putting her on the base, which isn't too bad. However, I guess because of the material of the speaker itself, like it was a little bit squeaky when trying to place her on the peg, so not the most pleasant sound to hear. And then going into the twin tails, so her right one was not that bad to put in, but the left one was a struggle, and I worried in the future that if I pulled this out at the wrong angle, I could possibly snap the peg off. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to cringe at what I'm going to say next, but I pretty much took an X-Acto knife and I scraped off that layer of paint on the peg for the left twin tail, and that just made putting it in the hole like so much easier. Just that like little layer of paint can just make like all the difference in terms of trying to fit the peg in the hole. So that's what I did. This figure, you know, I'm not selling anytime soon, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Plus, again, the peg is in the hole, you're not going to see anything, so it's really not that bothersome to me personally. And then lastly, the speaker for the megaphone, you just have to put it on top of the handle. Again, a slightly tight fit, but not as bad as that left twin tail. And yeah, once it's all done, you have a pretty nice Miku figure. I do like how nice and small this one is. It's not like overly massive, so it won't take up too much room on a shelf. And yeah, in terms of sculpt, I think she looks fantastic, from her jacket to her pants to her hair. Like the way the twin tails are braided look amazing. Yeah, and just the paint job on this figure is very well done. I don't notice anything like too off in terms of paint work. And yeah, I think the jacket looks great as well. I like the way they sculpted the inside of it. What's also cool is I guess from that original illustration they tried to do some like lighting effect to the figure in terms of like the paint job. So on the black parts of the jacket you have this sort of yellowish green coloring, which is very cool that, you know, they tried to do that for this figure. I don't think it really looks ugly or anything, but yeah, it's a very cool addition to simulate that sort of lighting effect. Also interesting with her front hair, it gets a little bit translucent at the end, which is kind of interesting. And then for the speaker itself, in the promo photos it's supposed to light up. However, I think some people got it and they were confused as to how it's supposed to light up. I forgot if this figure also came with instructions. I don't think it did, so that just made everything more unclear. But you are just basically supposed to take like the bottom off and then just put like a little LED in there and then it'll light up. So unfortunately you do have to have your own like little light source if you do want to display this figure with the speaker glowing. I think it's a cool gimmick, but I do wish that they again had instructions to make that more clear to people. But yeah, I don't really intend to display her with like a light source, which is fine, so it doesn't bother me. So yeah, for my first Design Coco figure, I am quite happy with her overall. The sculpting, the paintwork is fantastic. Also her eyes, just the detail in them is so good. I really love the way her eyes are designed, and also just mouth sculpt as well, because some mouth sculpts can be hit or miss, but this one looks very cute, especially with the way they made her teeth. But overall, I feel like Design Coco nailed it when translating that original illustration into this figure. So I am excited to pick up more figures from them in the future. I do have a couple pre-ordered from them for 2025, so I'm excited to see the quality of those. But yeah, a very solid translation of that gorgeous lamb illustration into this figure. And now going on to the second scale figure, we have this original character figure. This is the Salon de Vitrine Strawberry Shortcake Bustier Girl complete figure by Max Factory, a manufacturer who I don't really have a lot of figures from, but they have absolutely top tier quality. So yeah, I picked this up for the design, a little bit also for my sweet theme figure collection. I think she just looks so cute. I'll first also talk about the box for this figure, which I think is really nice. It has the original illustration on it. More like a close-up of her face, and maybe also in some other areas I can't remember off the top of my head. But then you can just open up the front of the box, and then you just see the figure in there, as well as this sort of little backdrop setup, which looks so cute. I really love the way that backdrop looks. So my one nitpick though with the box is that, yes, it is nice that it has this opening flap, however, it is held together by tape, so you just have to kind of retape it again. I don't know why they didn't do magnets just to keep those parts together. That's just my personal nitpick. I think that would have been a little bit more smarter thing to do in terms of box design. But besides that, the box is very gorgeous. Not too big also for what this figure is. So going into the assembly for this figure, so first you just put her on the base. So you can also adjust the stool technically, however, the peg that they used is not round, so be careful about that. I think it's supposed to be like a half circular peg, I'm not too sure of the shape. But anyway, it's not round, which is the most important thing, because if you twist this, you will definitely break it. Thank you to Gwen Collects. I saw that comment and I'm like, okay, that's definitely something to think about. Which I don't understand why they wouldn't do a circle peg for like the stool. I think that would have definitely been smarter, especially because if people are trying to adjust it, you would think to twist to adjust it, but no, you have to just pull. And yeah, so be careful about that if you do have this figure in the future. And then lastly, if you heard all this sliding around through parts of the video, it's because of these extra little accessories like the strawberry, the whipped cream, and this little sign that she has. You just pretty much place them wherever. It's a little bit annoying though, because, you know, if I accidentally pull this off the shelf too quick, all those pieces will go flying. So maybe I wish that they had their own little peg, but hey, I guess if you like sort of just customizing the figure however you want, that's always a plus. But yeah, so now onto the figure herself. She looks so good. Again, Max Factory quality is fantastic. The sculpt work on her outfit is very well done. It's a very cute looking outfit. So additionally, like the pink parts of her outfit, like her tights as well as her little arm sleeves, they're supposed to be pearls, I believe, which are sculpted on, which again, very tiny, tiny little details that they didn't have to sculpt on, but they took that extra step to do so. I like how some parts of the figure are glossy, like her bows. I do also like the color of the stool and the telephone as well. It's just a very nice looking shade of, I guess like a blue-green, I'm not too sure, or teal. I think it's a teal color. And the hair sculpt as well, just with the sculpt of her curls and the coloring, look also fantastic. And it's just a super cute character design. And I feel like it doesn't take up too much room on the shelf, which is nice. And yeah, the base by itself is pretty simple. It's, I guess, supposed to simulate like the icing on a cake. So there's that. But yeah, just another fantastic Max Factory figure for the very few of them that I have. I think their quality is absolutely amazing. A very gorgeous Max Factory figure, a very gorgeous character design by Erimo. I don't think I pointed out the illustrator before, but yeah, just absolutely fantastic. And even like the eyes, the details in there look amazing. So I am definitely excited for more of the characters from this series in the future, because there are a few more character designs that might pop up on screen that have yet to be made into figures. So yeah, very gorgeous character design. Max Factory absolutely nailed it with this figure. And now we're going on to the very last figure I picked up for the month, a very massive one as well. This is the Fate Grand Order Caster Shuten Douji Halloween 1/7 figure by QuezQ, who's another manufacturer I don't have a lot of figures from, but I heard nothing but great things about. So yeah, I wanted to pick up a Shuten Douji figure because I love her character design, and when I saw this one as a prototype and then colored, I really wanted to pick her up. So going into the assembly for this figure, which was very easy. So first you put her on the base. There's a couple of peg holes that you just have to put her in. She's already attached to the base, which is very nice. After that, her little bow piece in the back is separate, so you just have to attach that on, which is easy. And then she also has this little fox companion that comes separately that you just simply place into the peg on her hand. And then we also have, that I took off the base for reasons I'll get into, this giant mallet that she has, which looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, the paint job, the sculpt, it just looks amazing. That just simply just slides into her hand. Now, be careful with that piece. She doesn't grip it or anything, you just kind of rest it against her hand. So if you do take this figure off the shelf, just remember that that piece is not attached to anything, so you could possibly have that fly off the base and fall onto the floor. So in that case, I do maybe wish they put one peg on the base for that weapon that she has, just so in the case you do forget and you take her off the shelf, it doesn't fall off or anything. And technically you can display her without the base, which is nice. She does get a little bit wobbly, but she does still stand up quite well without it. But I'm glad that, you know, even if you do display her on this base, it's not like super massive. It doesn't take up too much extra space, I think, which is nice. So after all of that, you have a glorious Shuten Douji figure who I really don't have any heavy complaints about in terms of sculpting and paintwork. Yeah, there's just so much goodness to her. I really like the translucent parts, like for her earrings, some parts of her outfit. The gourd on her back, it's like a little bit clear. It's not like you can see through it or anything, but you know, that's just a very cool looking effect for that piece. As well as just the way they sculpted some areas. Like, I can't imagine how long it would take to sculpt like the sort of rope design for the bow in her back, as well as on the gourd on the base. And yeah, the stars as well on her outfit are very neatly applied. They're nice and sharp as well. Her little, I guess, fox companion is very cute as well. A nice little addition to the figure. And yeah, her face also very nice. The horns have also like very small heart details, which are applied very well. So I did notice this though, at least on my copy. This could have been my fault. I can't remember when I took her out of the box. Unfortunately, one little piece of paint kind of chipped off like her hip area at the front, so I'm gonna see if I can touch that up a little bit. So one more thing that prevents this figure from being absolutely perfect is that the gourd base that she's on, the top part of it, so now where she's like resting, has this massive sort of like seam line on it. I don't know why they didn't like smooth this out, but it's there. It's a little bit like unsightly. If you look at her like from like up above, you're definitely not gonna see it, but if you have her like lower on a shelf where you can like just look down at the figure, you're definitely gonna see it. So yeah, that's just something for especially how much this figure was that I wish they probably would have smoothed it out a little bit more. And yeah, so besides all that, I really do love this Shuten Douji figure. Again though, you know, quite expensive. Hopefully she does maybe go down a little bit in price. Plus again, I got her for single shipment off of AmiAmi, which was not fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm happy to have a figure finally of this character in my collection. I think, you know, QuezQ did a fantastic job, and with those recent Fate announcements from them, I am definitely excited to pick up more figures from them in the future. So that's gonna go ahead and conclude this video for today. We're finally ending off 2024, and then we're gonna be jumping into my 2025 figure hauls, which is quite exciting. So yeah, hoping for 2025 I don't have to play catch up with a lot of these hauls like I did for 2024. Definitely trying to get these out as fast as possible. So yeah, hopefully I can keep a pretty consistent schedule for 2025. Let's just say that's my New Year's resolution for the channel. So let me know what were your favorite pickups from this haul, or what did you pick up for December of 2024, especially with it being the holiday season as well. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you would like to, of course, and you do enjoy my content, feel free to take the time to subscribe to my channel to see what other figure and merch related shenanigans I get into next. So thank you all so much again for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night wherever you are, and take it easy. Goodbye.